Hey, welcome to another edition of the Live It Full podcast. It is Thursday, October 14th, 2021, which means it's time for Thursday Thoughts with Richard. I haven't been consistent the past few months doing Thursday Thoughts, but I think it's important for me to get this out every once in a while. Generally, what I talk about are things that I tend to write down in the beginning, and then I decided, well, maybe we need a video or a blog or, some audio to go with it. And so I wanted to talk about a quote that I've heard, and I know this one's attributed to Henry Ford. I've heard Ryan Stewart use it, my mentor and friend, and the hardcore closer, if anybody wants to check him out. But I've heard it, and I didn't always understand it, but I do 100% now. And so Henry Ford, at least it's attributed to him, said, "Givers have to set limits because takers rarely do." Read that again for you for those in the back. Givers have to set limits because takers rarely do. Where I have felt the most in recent months and in the past has been allowing takers to set the limits. There are those of us in this world, and it's not everybody, and not everybody's a taker, so don't take it that you're one or the other. They're two extremes of this dichotomy. But there are those of us that give. We freely give our time, our resources financially. We give, and we volunteer, we coach youth sports, we mentor, we serve on boards. We try to make the world we're in a better place. We are always willing to help people. I can really sum it up. I've been thinking about it lately. People with this mentality are coaches. Now, whether they're coaching in the athletic world as a profession or not, I consider myself a coach. I help people with business. I help people plan. I help people with their lives, budgeting, and just about all facets. It's coaching because they have to take that information and run with it. We give. Coaches give. They volunteer their time and their energy, even when they're getting paid. And no matter how much we give, takers will continue to take. And so some of my failures, I feel like where I have failed people is because I take extreme ownership in everything. So if somebody crossed boundaries that I didn't set, is that on them or is that on me? Well, it's on me because I have ownership in all my situations. It doesn't matter whose fault it should be. I have ownership. And so with that being said, if we don't, as leaders, as givers, and you'll see that a lot with entrepreneurs and people who try to create things, is that they are givers. They want to give out. So we overshare sometimes. We share our lives. We share what's going on. We share our successes. We share our failures to give. It's not a thing that we're doing it for ourselves to be, oh, look at me, I'm Sandra D kind of deal. Like, we're doing it to try to help others. And what's frustrating is the takers don't know limits. And so when you finally get fed up and you say, you know what, enough's enough, I can't give anymore, that person doesn't say, oh, thank you for your time. Thank you for the last 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. Thank you for the last months where you've helped me out with this. They turn on you and play a victim. They turn and they say things like, it was your fault that you quit giving or quit helping them or quit enabling their taking. And so as givers, we have to be really mindful of setting limits up front, setting boundaries, setting those expectations of what is to come. Because I don't ever want to get bitter. I don't ever want to get to the point where I feel like I can't give or I shouldn't give because some people will take too much. So that's the other part of this. If you are that person and you get burned out and you feel like you're giving and giving and there's people out there who are just taking and taking in relationships, in employee-employer relationships, in personal, father-son, mother-daughter, any of those relationships, any of the things that we go through on boards, on sports teams, if you feel like you're the one who's always giving and everybody else is taking, you have to set those boundaries, but don't let it burn out. Don't let your fire extinguish because of that. One thing that I wrote is to keep letting your light shine. Givers understand that you can use your spark, your fire to light somebody else's light. Takers think the flame belongs to them. You will not extinguish your light by lighting someone else's. Givers understand that. But what I've learned is you really have to set those boundaries from the beginning. You can't let it go to the point where they have expectations that they're going to continue just to be given to. And because they start gaslighting, they start making you the bully, the villain, and become the victim when all you ever did was give and try to help. Now, everybody has two sides to a narrative. There's always three sides to the truth. But I know that givers generally have trouble setting those limits because they want to give. And it's the dichotomy of the flip side. Takers want to take. Which I almost said haters want to hate, but takers want to take. And it's hard because you want to do the right things and help people, and they don't always, they see it, but they get into that mentality of woe is me and want to keep taking. And when you pull that away from them, just wait, they'll bite you. I've always heard that phrase, don't bite the hand that feeds you. They will if you don't set boundaries up front. If you like what you're hearing, if you like Thursday Thoughts, if you like the podcast, leave us a 5-star review on Apple, subscribe, download our episode, share us with your friends and family, take pictures, take screenshots, tag us, go to liveitfull.com and buy some merchandise. We've got some great shirts out there. We're going to have a new line coming out hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months of some even better shirts, I think. Some awesome stuff. We're going to get the kids involved. But also this week, I'm going to have Caitlin back in the studio, and I also have a surprise guest. Well, it's not a surprise guest. I'll tell you who it is. My buddy Matt's going to be in the studio with me tomorrow. That episode will probably air by the time you listen to this one next week. But Matt's going to share some insight. We're going to talk about some things that we do together as business partners and friends and brothers from another mother that I think benefits everybody. So we're going to have a great show with him. I don't know how long I'm going to go. Maybe one of those we talk an hour and divide it into 2, but I think he has worthwhile things to say. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope that you'll have a great remainder of the week. And I hope that you enjoyed this edition of Thursday Thoughts with Richard. You continue to live it full.